What's up, everybody? I'm Brian. That's Steve. This is the Suffering Swords Podcast, episode 4. It's February 5th, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what a great day yesterday was. A game versus the Colorado Avalanche went well.
As expected.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Should I be mad about that?
No, you really shouldn't. I mean, I think it's actually good because it really just kind of compounds everything. Like, we could have lost like 2-1 in a shootout or whatever, really locked it down, but instead we just got blown out in 2 periods.
Yeah.
We shut it down.
I like seeing that more than
yeah.
close wins because I just want the roof to collapse on everything, honestly.
It's getting there.
Yeah. We're back to this point again where should I be more excited for losses than wins for the 7th straight year, whatever it is, because we're not going anywhere.
I mean, I'm kind of on that boat. It's not really I'm cheering for losses, but I'm not angry if we lose. It's at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'd rather, if we're going to lose, I'd rather not have some like bullshit 2-1 shootout loss. I'd rather
just get worked.
Or just like a good 4-3 regulation loss. Get a few goals. Eichel get out there, do something. But I mean you can't really get mad at losses at this point. So
no, I haven't been. I've been numb to wins and losses since like 15 games into the season because like we started out hot and then we kind of hit a wall and then we like plateaued there and then just dropped off ever since and like. Since last year's winning streak and then all the losing, like I don't care I don't even care about outcomes of games anymore. I just need to be able to look forward at the future and feel good about it, and I can't do that either.
Well, then what do we have?
We have anger.
Yeah. And
disappointment and confusion. It's like being in a plane crash. Like, what's happening. You can't stop it, though.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that's... We'll start with the Avalanche game.
Sure.
Let's just put it out there that I believe the Avalanche are kind of like a comparable to the Sabres. Not in terms of where they are now, but the way the roster is constructed from the top down. You look at Eichel, he's McKinnon.
Right.
They have Cale Makar, we have Rasmus Dahlin. He's a little bit older, so... That's really the only difference there. Skinner and Reinhart, Landeskog and Rantanen.
Sure.
That's their core that is going to stay there and is going to propel them one way or another, positively or negatively. And, when you look at the Avalanche and their arc as a team over the last several years, they were kind of where we were.
They were worse. They had a record bad season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a low, like an NHL low in points of all time. Yeah. Yep. And people were, Joe Sakic was not a well-liked individual at the time. And they went years with McKinnon and Landeskog and Duchesne. And then, they moved on from Duchesne and they made an incredible draft pick in Mikko Rantanen, who was a later first-round pick. And they've completely turned things around. And I don't have any faith that this general manager can do that.
I mean, in another comparison with McKinnon is Eichel and him, they both kind of started off good, but like, just took off one season, and that's, it's one season delayed with Eichel, I guess, because McKinnon was probably a year or two ago, right? But, they have like a dynamic duo, I guess, if you want to call it. Are you comparing Reinhart to Rantanen, or?
I'm just saying their big four guys are the exact same as ours. Maybe with Skinner being, how old is Landeskog?
Younger than you think, because
he's a few years younger than Skinner, and Reinhart is a few years older than Rantanen, so that kind of balances itself out.
Yeah.
But
they have depth.
Yeah, and whose fault is it that we don't? Because you look at how their roster is constructed. They moved on from Barrie last year.
Yep.
To Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
They moved on from Varlamov because he was going to be insanely expensive.
Yep.
They moved on from Duchesne because he was going to be expensive, and there was a giant mess going on with the team at that point, and he wanted out.
Yeah.
Yep. And they found guys to bring in that are useful. And that's a competent GM versus one that isn't competent in ours.
And they also lost the Ryan O'Reilly trade, too.
That's true.
We beat them with it, and then we lost
We
as
both
well.
lost the Ryan O'Reilly trade, too.
This
Maybe
is the
one
perfect
worse
comparison.
than the other. Yeah, but like you look at who they brought in. Nazem Kadri, Andrei Burakovsky,
Yep.
Valery Nichushkin, and Jonas Donskoy. That's an insane haul of forwards that you can bring in.
Lots of underrated guys.
Yeah, those are all smart acquisitions because all of them play very valuable roles. Burakovsky was just thrown out of Washington. Nichushkin kind of rejuvenated himself. Like, I won't say that he was like a highly touted guy or he was underrated for no reason. Like, he obviously had his problem. But Jonas Donskoy is kind of a stud, let's be honest. So is Burakovsky. Kadri is an amazing middle six center.
Sure.
And Nichushkin has been amazing.
It's been great for him, yeah.
Yeah, and those are the moves you need to make. So instead of that, we got who? Marcus Johansson. Marcus Johansson playing out of position.
Yep.
Instead of Nazem Kadri. We got Connor Sherry and Jimmy Vesey instead of Andrei Burakovsky and Valery Nichushkin.
Yeah, that's where the comparison falls off, I guess, with the teams.
Yeah, and I guess with Donskoy, we kind of stumbled onto Victor Olofsson because, let's be honest, no one thought the 7th rounder was,
true,
gonna make it to the NHL, or else he would have gone higher. But those are 4 guys that you bring in that make a world of difference, and then you look at the guys we bring in, and they're not anywhere close to that, and that's what good GMs do versus bad ones.
And Sabres fans, it wasn't like these were surprise moves. Like, there was just outrage on Twitter. Like, we wanted Donskoy, we wanted Burakovsky, 100% both of them.
Yep.
And, I mean, just didn't happen.
There's outrage all the time, and for good reason. Like, I'm so sick of hearing that there's no trades being made in the NHL. If you look behind us, if you're watching on YouTube, this is a list of forwards that were traded. That's a big list, and these are not no-name guys. Most of these guys are relevant and good. And it's unbelievable that I keep hearing this. It's made up at this point. Like, trades are difficult, but it's not like nothing is happening. I'm going to run down the list of forwards that have been traded since the Ryan O'Reilly deal 2 off seasons ago. You have Taylor Hall. All right, let's actually go in reverse order. So this is from Ryan O'Reilly being traded up to current in that order. So Max Pacioretty, Thomas Tatar, Victor Rask, Nino Niederreiter, Dominic Kubelik, who is literally just snagged off of a team for literally nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was a wasted, useless, 5th or 6th round pick, and he's been incredible for the Blackhawks. He's among the highest scoring rookies in the league.
21 goals?
Yeah. Sam Gagner, he's not up to par with a lot of these guys, but he's still a useful piece. Charlie Coyle, Carl Hagelin, Matt Duchesne, Ryan Dzingel, Matt Zuccarello, Gustav Nyquist, Mikhail Granlund, Kevin Fiala, Mark Stone, Eric Howla, Andrei Burakovsky, Phil Kessel, Connor Brown, Alex Kerfoot, Nazem Kadri, Nikita Gusev, Vlad Nemesnikov, Robbie Fabry, and now Taylor Hall. Where is it that there aren't trades in the NHL? These are only forwards. I left out prospects, I left out draft picks, and I left out defensemen. This is just in the last 2 years. These are big name forwards getting moved. So who's saying that there's not trades in the NHL and it's hard to find forward help? It's not. These people are getting moved for nothing and getting big things in return.
Now, to be fair, if we're going to be fair here.
Okay.
Some of these guys are expiring, Nyquist. It would have made sense for us to get them unless we knew they were going to sign Mark Stone, Zuccarello, Dzingel. But really, the big point here is Bottrell missed his chance. I mean, he had the assets at the time. I mean, could have traded second or whatever for Gusev.
Yeah, most of these guys were had for equal value forwards, which if we actually made roster moves, he could do this reasonably. I mean, not now because we have so few forwards, but most of these guys are for draft picks and prospects.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time we traded a prospect that wasn't Nick Baptiste?
It's been a while.
Or Justin We don't move anything.
I mean, we just didn't have the pool. And
we still don't. What's happening? Yeah, this is drafting then. So that's not acceptable either. But all of these guys are had for value that either isn't even in the NHL yet, or guys just getting flip-flopped for a change of scenery to see what happens. And it's unbelievable that I keep hearing trades are difficult to make in the NHL. They're difficult to make if you're a bad GM. Let's be honest. That's just straight up what it is. If we had Joe Sakic, Nazem Kadri, Andrei Burakovsky, Valeri Nichushkin, Jonas Donskoy. If we have Jason Bottrell, Connor Sherry, Jimmy Vesey, Marcus Johansson, Vlad Sobotka.
Johansson.
he's so handsome. But I'm so sick of hearing about it. All these guys have been moved in the last 2 years. But it's hard to do. It's really hard to find guys. And then we hear about people talking about, no one wants our trash. I'm not trying to trade Jimmy Vesey and Connor Sherry for Connor McDavid. I want to trade prospects. I want to trade picks. People that aren't in your organization yet for people that are going to come in and help. Because that's what you should be doing. That's what good teams do. They take sure things, get them for people that you're not sure about. And we need the help now. I don't care about 5 years down the line anymore. I need help now. I can't believe that all of these people were moved. I was shocked at this list when I did it. This is a huge list of valuable pieces that have been moved.
Yeah, these are very relevant.
These are all relevant people for the most part. There might be one or two that aren't exactly what you want. But all of these guys turned out to be what they thought, what teams that were getting them thought they'd be.
Or better, like Tatar. Look at him. Man.
Yeah, well, look at Mark Stone. Mark Stone was good in Ottawa. He's amazing in Vegas. But all of these people could have been had. But it's hard to make trades. No one wants a trade partner. Well, apparently 25 legit forwards were getting moved. So where is it coming from? That it's hard to make these trades. It's hard to make trades when you're a bad GM.
Yeah, there's a lot of defensive general managers for some reason.
For what reason? It's bullshit. It's all it is. There's no way all of these guys were ungettable for the Sabres. It's not possible. It's one thing if you don't have free agents signing here, because I wouldn't want to come here. When you trade for someone, they have to play for you. Newsflash for everyone.
That's how we get a lot of our
This is how we get our players. And we have Connor Sherry and Jimmy Vesey coming in instead of some of these guys, which could be had for the same price. It's ridiculous. It really is. And I'm done hearing about Jason Bottrell not being able to make moves because it's just a lie. And I can't stand the thought of him coming into next season still being the general manager. Because now is the time to do it. Now is the time you're not going to have any repercussions for doing it. Because the fans are up in arms. Even if he turns it around, he's still going to have so much hatred toward him for the last several years of incompetence. I don't know if he's ever going to gain the trust back. So you're not losing anything in that department. We have no president of hockey operations. This chipmunk-looking goober is their front man, and everyone hates whenever he comes on the radio and talks. He sounds like he sounds incompetent when he talks. Everything he talks about seems out of touch. So you're not losing anything on that front. You're not losing anything on the trade front because he can't make trades, or he chooses not to. We haven't drafted anyone because we haven't had anyone useful come up in the system in years. Right?
I mean, Victor Olofsson.
That wasn't even his pick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was Tim Murray. So he hasn't had anything useful. I don't even know where his prospects that he's drafted are right now.
No season in the AHL,
No one's in the AHL. They're still overseas. Yeah, one guy. Cool. Good for them. There's one person.
Bryson.
Okay, there's a couple. Let's be honest. There are a few, but the overwhelming majority they're not even in the ECHL. They're still overseas. They're still years away from anything. What is this accomplishing? Keeping him. We're going to wipe the slate clean, supposedly, this offseason by getting rid of however many guys that are UFAs now. How many is it? Like 6 or 7?
A ton. Probably more, honestly.
I don't want him in charge of that. This is the time to get a new GM. When you have people coming off the books, I don't want a GM inheriting Bottrell's mess that he made this offseason when he gets fired at the end of next season because we're still at the bottom of the league. This is the time to do it.
From my understanding, and you're not going to like hearing it, but I mean, today, even on the radio, Bottrell said, like, this is, a long-term approach. Like, that's my job as a GM to look at it in a long term. Like, I can't just throw everything away because things aren't looking good right now. So that makes me think that Pegula, has given him a nice timetable.
Yeah, I'm sure they've given him a long leash. I said this last episode, and I'll say it again. Continuity is only a valuable thing if the person you're continuing to stick with is relevant and good, and he can keep you up. Negative continuity is a real thing. It's when you hold on to guys too long. That's what this team does. This is the Buffalo negative continuities at this point. Because we keep Connor Sherry, and we keep all these other bums on offense, and we keep Zach Bogosian, and we keep Jake McCabe. They're all negatives, but we're just going to ride them out, because let's see what happens. They couldn't get any worse.
Bottrell's afraid to waive, bad people.
We haven't waived anyone. We haven't cut anyone. There's nothing. There's no movement going on. And the Pegulas are going to keep Bottrell the way Bottrell's going to keep bad players. It's just, we're keeping guys just to see what we have in them. We already know what we have in them. They're negatives. Get rid of them.
Who's the last bad person that we actually waived that wanted to play? Scott Wilson,
I have no idea.
But he's still here. No one's playing him, obviously.
He's still here. Was there even anyone in the beginning of the year?
We had to waive Gilmore and stuff.
Yeah, right? that's a smart move.
Luckily, he was not claimed.
Right.
Because the GM, buddy stuff probably. But
yeah, that's another big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't hear about trades are difficult to make. It's not. If you're a competent GM, trades are a very easy thing to find because there's always guys that are being moved. And there's always guys on the block. And like it or not, people don't like hearing this for some reason. Every single person in the league is gettable. We could trade for Connor McDavid if we wanted to.
You really think so?
The Edmonton Oilers wouldn't trade Connor McDavid for Jack Eichel, Rasmus Dahlin, and 4 first-round picks. I guarantee they do that. And he's the most there's no way they don't.
You're probably right.
There's no way. That's a supposedly generational defenseman. That's a few steps down with an elite superstar center in Jack Eichel, and then with fuck 4, make it 6. 6 first-round picks. Go for it. I guarantee they do that. And he's the most untouchable player in the league. And he's gettable. Every single person is gettable. It just depends on the price you have to pay for it. That's obviously way too steep of a price for anyone.
Yeah.
But he's gettable. All these untouchable guys that, we wouldn't trade him for anything. Really? I'll give you 3 other really good guys. All right, we'll think about it. Yeah, that's what happens. Everyone is gettable. Trades are obtainable. It's not impossible to move guys. It's not impossible to replace guys. It's not impossible to draft guys. It's not impossible to do anything. But this team makes it so hard to do anything because they refuse to try things. And I'm sick of just dealing with the same shit over and over again. I need movement. I need something in one direction. Because right now, we're not even going anywhere. We're where we were last year. And last year, we were worse than we were the last 2 years. So if anything, we're just sinking further down. And I'm so sick of hearing about all of the rough, difficult situations that this GM is in with guys that he brought in. Oh, I can't move him now. Oh, that poor guy. I feel so bad that he brought these players in that are shit. Am I supposed to feel bad that he can't move Connor Sherry at the trade deadline? For what? For the same thing that he got him for? Am I supposed to be upset that he traded a second for Colin Miller, and if he decides to move him, there's no way he's getting that back?
No. Yeah.
Am I supposed to think we're going to get a third for Jimmy Vesey? No, there's no way. And that's his fault. All of this is on the GM. And that's all I have to say about that, because that's all that needs to be said. Anyone defending Jason Bottrill is just not paying attention to the rest of the league. Look around. There's guys making moves all the time. Look at the Avalanche. Look where they were and look where they are now. That's the difference between a good GM and a bad GM. And that's all I got to say on that. Do you have any counterpoints to any of those? I know you're more of a supporter than I am.
I'm a to-be-fair guy.
Yeah, I think that was pretty fair.
Yeah, that's fair. So how long would you fire him, like, today? You would fire him today?
I would fire him as soon as I would have been looking for a GM replacement before the season started and having a list of guys. And if they didn't, that's on the Pagulas. Because looking at last year, what happened after the winning streak, and then the lack of roster movement coming into this year, that would have been the biggest red flag of any of them coming into this year. You have no one new. So now's the time. Yeah, I'm going to start making a list and calling people, saying like, hey, we might want to interview you halfway through the year. Just keep in touch with us. Make a list. Send some people out. Do some research to start the year. And now is the time that they're probably thinking about, well, maybe this wasn't a great idea to just continue with him, but I guess we're stuck for the long haul now.
Well, they're feeling the pressure, the Pagulas, right now.
Are
Definitely.
they?
I mean, I think so.
I don't think they are.
You don't think they care?
We're very frustrated. Yeah, so are we.
Yeah, they still haven't spoken to the media or anything.
No public statements. I don't want to get off on this tirade.
Okay.
Let's finish up with the GM talk.
Okay.
But what did you think about his... do you listen to any of his interviews with WGR or anything?
I do. I just saw, some of his quotes
Some
today.
quotes, yeah. What did he say yesterday besides what else you said? Was there anything else of value? I know there was like we have like NHL goal scorers, like proven NHL scorers that aren't scoring. Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, that was the other big one I wanted.
Look at this roster. Who is a proven NHL goal scorer?
Jimmy Vesey,
20 goal scorer one time.
I mean, he's always hovering around that range. He's really dropped off.
All right, obviously. Connor Sherry, maybe.
Yeah.
Not that he was really he had a good playoff series. That's pretty much where his value came from. And when he was playing with Sidney Crosby. Marcus Johansson is valuable when he's playing on the correct position.
I mean, his points aren't way off from what his average is.
Right,
he's
but
like a 50 point guy.
So let's say Jimmy Vesey is quote unquote
the big difference.
A proven goal scorer. Okay. How many goals does he have this year?
A handful, right?
Yeah, he'll probably finish with what, like 10?
Maybe even not 10. I don't know.
Okay. Marcus Johansson, not a proven NHL goal scorer. These aren't snipers we're bringing in.
Yeah, a lot of playmakers like Furlik he brought in. He's more of a passer.
Well, yeah, he doesn't shoot. He's not.
Yeah, no, he doesn't shoot. Like you've seen him.
But this is the problem that I have with this guy. Everything he says is just deflection.
Yeah,
it's like, well, we have guys that aren't producing the way we want them to. Well, yeah, I want Zemgus Girgensons to be 100 goal scorer. He's not going to score 100. It's nice to have goals in mind that people can't attain. That's what they've done. You're not going to get 20 goals out of Jimmy Vesey every year. You're not going to get goals out of Connor Sherry. You're not going to move Marcus Johansson off of his main position and get the same type of goal scoring. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and then, I mean, he's probably talking about Skinner as well a bit.
Yeah, well then put him with Eichel.
Yeah.
I hear so much about, like, yeah, we should probably put him with Eichel now, and I'm the number one person to say that. Regardless of what he does with Eichel, you're giving Jimmy Vesey more playing time than Jeff Skinner. That's something that's overlooked. I never see this brought up. Jack Eichel is on the ice more than anyone.
Yeah.
So that means the two people that he's with 5-on-5 are also the top minute guys on forward. Jimmy Vesey led the team in ice time for a period yesterday. What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know if he just got stuck out there for an extra shift or what, but it's still not
How?
ideal.
Why is he even in that position? I don't want Jeff Skinner on Eichel's wing simply because I think it'll lead to more points. It's because I know he's a better hockey player than Jimmy Vesey is, and Zemgus Girgensons is, and Evan Rodriguez is, or whoever you put on his wing. He's a good player. He's a $9 million forward. I want him playing top minutes, not third line role. That's not how this works. There's supposed to be balance in this lineup, but it's still top heavy, and all you're doing by not playing Skinner is limiting his minutes and then not getting him the points. Mm-hmm. So you're unbalancing it even more because you're taking someone who would score more on the first line, putting him on the third line, and then it's killing him as well. You're killing all of your good players with all the shit that you have around them.
Yep.
This has been a one-line team all year. The first 10 games, Johansson and Skinner were playing fine.
Yeah.
That died. Then Skinner died. Johansson's died. The third line never got going.
The power play died.
The power play died. The second line power play was never useful at all because look at the players they have. The only other line that was useful was the fourth line, or the Larson line. Sorry, I don't want to number the lines because that'll hurt their feelings or something. But that's not a goal-scoring line. That's not a negative. The other two lines are a negative. The fourth line is the second best line because they're not terrible. And that's what the other two have been. That's the position that we're in.
Yep. In my opinion, there needs to be, and I know I share this as well, and I've seen articles saying, like, do not put Skinner with Eichel. Like, it's better to have balance, whatever. But there needs to be, like, pairs, I think. You know what I mean? Like, sure, don't put Skinner with Eichel, but put Reinhart with Skinner or something like that, and then put Olofsson with Eichel. Yeah. And that's been said. I think Jeremy White said that, and I agree with that for sure. Like, Skinner needs someone with him. Mm-hmm. Like, Reinhart is going to be able to feed him the puck. I know it's like, Eichel and like Reinhart is just such a great duo. Sure. But, you put Olofsson, probably the worst of the four, right? I mean, that's not even a bad thing to say. Like,
of those four, he's the least. Yeah. So
you give him Eichel, and they seem to play really great together. Mm-hmm. And then Skinner and Reinhart, they should be a solid pair. Yeah. You got a playmaker, and Skinner. I mean, he's been making some nice passes. They're not getting finished.
That's a surprise.
Really nice pass to Reinhart on the power play last game, and.
What? I have to bring that up, too. Why every other team can finish those chances except us. Like, when I saw that, like, that embodied this team to me. When Reinhart got fed in front, and then it was just, like, a sturdy poke check, and then it just went, like, 30 feet away from Reinhart. Like, you need to be stronger on the puck than that.
Are you talking about the mini breakaway?
I'm talking about there was a power play chance where he got fed right in the slot, and then Grubauer poke checked him, but it wasn't like a flinging like stick poke check. I'm not hating on Reinhart because I think he's useful, but it seems like that constantly happens where guys like no one is strong on the puck except Eichel. Like those chances get buried. Like I don't know what this is. Obviously, I'm sure it probably doesn't even have anything to do, reasonably speaking, with anything, but like that play just embodied the whole team where like it was just a sturdy poke check and then it ends up out of the zone because of it. It's like that is the game that we play. Like no one plays hard, and that is like such a dated thing to say, and I understand that skill trumps everything, but like I can count on one hand the amount of like checks that we finish into the boards. And like people walk around us without getting like, take a whack at the fingers once in a while. Like, that's what other teams do. And guys finish guys into the wall. And that never happens on this team. We're just such a soft team to play against. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want that to sound like I think that's more important than anything, because that's not. But that's a aspect of the game that if you don't have skill, you need to make up for it with effort. And we don't do that. This roster is just a mess.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the only word I can think of. Like, there's guys here that don't do anything. They don't score. They don't hit. They don't make good passes. They're not good defensively. They're just a roster spot. And that's my problem.
Yeah, I mean, Kruger's preached that they need to, get into the system and be consistent with, what he's laid out for them.
Well, we heard that last year with Housley, that we're telling them what to do. They're just not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, obviously, the players need to change then.
Yeah.
Because this isn't something new. This happened last year with the previous coach. And you heard about it with Dan Bilesma. They're not playing the system we want them to play. So find people that will.
Yeah.
What's hard about that?
We're just consistently, in Bottrell's tenure, we have just the lowest amount of goal chances.
Yeah. We have the lowest amount of goals scored. We're dead last in goals per game.
Yeah, so our expected goals it's barely over 2.
Yeah, that's lowest by
a good amount.
A good chunk. And I'm not surprised by that. That's the roster that's stayed and that was put together and has stayed here.
Because we're taking shots from the point.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be our game plan. Just chip it around the boards a couple times and then just take a really low chance shot. My
phone just died.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Well, that's not good. All right, well, only audio now. Sorry, everyone.
That's fine.
Well, we'll make this a short episode then.
Sure.
But, let's just move on then. What did you think about Kruger's comment on not hearing any of the fan issues?
Yeah, I mean, all the players seem to be in the same boat. They're just acting like they're tuning everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they probably have to for their mental health.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it a lie? I mean, I really don't know. I've never been in that spot. Can you block all that stuff out? I mean, you probably have to stay off of social media.
There's no way. There's 0% chance that they don't hear about it. That's their profession. They have to know about things like that.
You're talking about coach or player-wise?
Both. Everyone. There's no way you can avoid that in the NHL.
So you're saying you can hear the boos from the crowd, but you could stay off social media, surely.
But even still, you would there's no way. You could, before we were on social media, we heard all about the disaster of the hockey team, even if we weren't on Twitter constantly, updating all the shit that's been happening.
Yeah, but there's never been, that, Twitter and Facebook, that's the platforms that
right, but
really...
even still, before that, I don't even mean before Twitter, just even if you're not on Twitter, you're still savvy with what's going on. If you just live here, you hear about the team being a disaster.
Well, yeah, from word of mouth, but who's going to go up to Eichel and be like, you guys suck, by the way?
You don't think they know about that? You don't think there's no way they avoid that. Every single person on that team knows the position that the fans are in.
I mean, yeah, you're probably not wrong, because as long as one person's on social media on the team, they probably see it, and then I'm sure it comes up in conversation.
You can't avoid that. There's no way you can avoid that.
Okay.
But it's just with Kruger's comments of, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was he was asked about the fan issues going on, and he was like, that hasn't reached my desk. What? What are you talking about? That's the worst thing ever to say. I understand why he said it. That's not just keep it away from me. But all you have to say is yeah, we understand. That's a lot better than, oh, I haven't heard anything about it. What?
Yeah, no, that's not right. Definitely.
It's, oh my God, it's of all the times to say that too. There's so much surrounding the team of the ownership doesn't care, and the GM is clueless and doesn't know what's going on. You're the only person that had any connection with the fans where people
True.
are still like, he still listens. He's a nice guy. He's like, I don't fucking know. We're like, no, there's our one chance. Ralph, why? It's like, go to the bars, go.
Yeah, if that's the case, he needs to be going to fucking Duff's or something and figuring it out.
Go to fucking Allen Street. Go to some bars.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But, like, it goes back to the, like, tone deaf thing that we brought up before. Like, everything is wrong. Like, why would you say that? Even if you, again, I don't know what he's supposed to say there. Honestly, like.
Just don't plead ignorance.
Yeah, just say, like, yeah, we understand.
Yeah, we're
not, all you have to say to that is, we're not happy either.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
that's all you need to say.
That's basically what he did when they asked him about, like, the booing. Which is something that he obviously would have to acknowledge because he can fucking hear.
Right.
And he's at the game, so
right.
you can't ignore that. But yeah, what's wrong with saying the same thing? I don't know if it caught him off guard. I mean, I'd be prepared to answer that.
How are you not prepared to answer that? That's all that's been talked about for the last fucking 3 months of this team is like, wow, the fans are unhappy. And then you're like, hey, Ralph, the fans are unhappy. And he's like, huh? I didn't know.
He needs to come out his next interview and wear like a "We Are Dwayne" hat or something.
Dwayne the Swamp.
Hashtag "We Are Dwayne." Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't say that. That's just, you can't do it to us. Please, Ralph, I know you're listening. Yeah. I know everyone is listening. Just please say something better next time. Please. And stop playing fucking Jimmy Vesey more than Jeff Skinner.
Yeah,
and stop playing Zach Bogosian. And play Jeff Skinner with Jack Eichel.
Yeah, everyone really just mocked the Penguins when, we had Pascal, Dupuis, Crosby, and who was with him? Chris Kunitz or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone mocked, like, oh, these guys, you could put anyone with Crosby. Maybe not, because we put people with Eichel and they suck.
Right,
so maybe there really are good complementary players out there.
Well, we can't find them.
Yeah, we cannot find them, sadly.
All right, I want to talk about analytics.
Really?
Yes. I want to talk about the analytic movement going on in the NHL, where teams are actually employing analytics people. Yeah. Sabres aren't one of them, clearly.
Those analytics would have told Botterill to get Donskoy. They would have told him to get Gusev.
I don't even mean, like, around the league. I just mean with this team.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if we had a better department, or if Botterill was actually paying attention, he would have been after those two. He probably would have re-signed Pominville because he had very solid analytics.
Yep. It's like this team is just behind in every aspect now.
Actually, just imagine this. Pominville, Eichel, and Olofsson together, and then Skinner and Reinhart with someone. Johansson, I guess. Johansson, right?
Well, yeah, that would help a little.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But that's not there, and Pominville is in the unemployment line.
So is Thomas Vanek.
Soup kitchen. Well, Vanek's whatever, but...
You wouldn't want Thomas Vanek?
I don't know.
I think Thomas Vanek's a better goal scorer than Jason Pominville.
Oh, sure.
This year.
Sure.
Right now.
I mean, maybe.
Every day.
But... I mean, you can't deny the chemistry that Pominville.
I'm not saying that.
That line was insane, and then to just voluntarily get rid of it,
and
even though that player,
the only person you get rid of, is Jason Pominville.
Yeah, you're telling me that Pominville wouldn't have stayed for like $1 million or something?
That wasn't. I guarantee they didn't offer him anything. There's no way if they offered him something, he wouldn't come back.
You can practice with us a little bit.
Yeah, right.
They wouldn't even offer him a minimum.
Yep. Yeah. That's just...
Sorry, I just bring that up because
Go ahead, man. Throw it onto the mountain of problems that this fucking team has because of the GM's incompetence. And getting back to the analytics department, I'm pretty sure if we had a relevant analytics department with more than one guy in it, or whatever it is
there's
now.
Like I picture one dude in a closet office, like just like a little...
With like an old Windows 97, like the big white one, and he's like...
Yeah, a 6 square foot room with like a typewriter or something, and like a like a chalkboard or something.
And he has like one of those little tubes that like mail rooms have, and he puts it in, and then like it sends the tube, and then it hits the wall when it comes out of the other side, and there's just a pile. It's like no one's paying attention to it.
Yeah, and Bottrell just like throws it in the trash once he gets it.
Or he doesn't even pick it up. There's just a huge pile on the floor.
Jason, can I come to the meeting next week about the players we're gonna look for? No.
Or he's like, yeah, it's a Duff's. He's like, it's not. My finishing point with the analytics discussion is that the league is moving in that direction, and I think it's pretty obvious that we're going to see the Sabres, well, they're already lacking behind the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue. And this is what separates good teams from bad ones, being on top of things and making changes when they need to be made. And that's my biggest problem with this team. I've said it fucking a million times, and I'll say it a million more. There needs to be changes with every aspect of this roster, with every aspect of management, even coaching, if it's going to continue down this path. Because the more I think about Ralph Kruger, the more I have problems with him, honestly. I like him a lot just off the ice, but playing 7 defensemen all the time can't happen.
He kind of has to, though.
Then does he though? Call up CJ Smith. Tell your GM.
What are you gonna do? Send Pilot down?
Get rid of Zach Bogosian.
You would still be scratched.
I don't care.
That's not even the issue. Then you're scratching Miller or Pilot or McCabe basically. And
Just get rid of McCabe then. Scratch McCabe. That's my point. We're playing guys that shouldn't be playing. I'm bouncing around right now out of anger. Why would you say that?
I'm sorry.
If you don't want to play 7 defensemen, trade one of them.
Right, okay.
Stop playing Bogosian. Stop playing McCabe. Get a 12 forward. Oh my God.
I would say Ralph, as we've pointed out before, he would do better in president of hockey.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why he came in, because they're gonna upgrade him to that. But that's
stupid. Happen. Why don't we just give him that already?
Man. It's so dumb.
See, that's where I think that theory is kind of weird, because it's like you could have just given that job to him and then hired a different coach that has more experience or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care about that as much, but
I don't care about experience, but I care about what You're not going to hire someone who's never coached a hockey team before.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be NHL experience. If you find someone and you like their coaching style, hire them. Oh. Who's the European guy that was talking?
The guy from Sweden, right?
Gronberg. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was
Give him a shot. Move Kruger on up. Get rid of Bottrell. Keep Taylor in the AHL if you don't like that idea. Bring in Gronberg and find a fucking GM.
It's time to give these guys like a half a season leash. And if it's not working, it's like a rotating fucking table here.
Okay, I hear that all the time not too, really, where it's like, we need to give guys longer than 4 months. The good coaches come in and turn it around immediately.
Look at Edmonton.
Look at the Blues. They fired their coach and they won the cup. They went from last to first.
True.
1/2 of a season because it's a good coach. They went from literally the worst team in the league to the best team in the league because they made a coaching change. It doesn't take very long. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling in general. I'm sorry.
And the thing is, right now, you got Gallant, right?
Yeah.
He's a free agent.
Gerard Gallant.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's there, but then you get to the point where you're scaring people from wanting to come to your team because they don't have a long enough leash.
Then you tell them the last guy sucked. Prove us that you're better than the last guy.
Okay.
That might be the worst point of all of this, is that you're scaring guys away. There's 31 of these jobs in the world.
True. Of
the highest level of hockey that you've tried your whole life to get into. You're not going to say no.
So you're probably just scaring away, like, maybe a few elite coaches, but how often would they?
Well, you're not even
be?
scaring them away. Like, the elite coaches are just picking other teams.
Yeah, they can.
But if you have someone that you want to bring in, do it now. Well, there's not other teams looking. In the offseason, when you wait to fire your coach, you're going to be in contention with 4 other teams for one guy. Get to him early. You don't have to wait until the end of the year to do anything. If you have a GM problem, get rid of them. If you have a coaching problem, get rid of them. There's always guys available. And there's only 31 teams in the NHL. And this is the highest level that you can possibly coach or manage at. Yep. They're not going to scoff at it. They're not going to say, I think I'm going to wait for another team to call me. Yep. It's not going to happen. Do it now. Don't wait. That's with players. You can find good players that come in immediately. You can find good coaches that come in immediately. And you can find good GMs that come in immediately and make useful impacts on the team.
I think it'd be tough for any coach to really do much with this roster. I'm just saying.
I'm not blaming Kruger for where they're at, but I hate the way he's managing players. And I hate the way we're playing power play, and I hate the way we're penalty killing, and I hate the lineups, and I hate the scratches. That's all coaching. And the more I think about that, the more it pisses me off, and the more I sour on him already. And anyone who says that you need to give coaches time, you don't. Let's be honest. Good GMs and good coaches come in and make immediate impact on an organization. You might have outliers, like look at Joe Sakic. He needed a few years to turn it around, and they're good now. But look at other teams. They come in, make changes immediately. They know a direction that they want to go. They start the team down the path. They hit the ground, and they run. Mm-hmm. It can happen, and it doesn't happen here. And until it does, keep looking. And that's all I got. I think that's a good place to wrap unless you have something else.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry for the video cutting out. I forgot to charge my phone.
Oh well.
So
it let us get naked for the second half.
That's true. Yeah, but
it's warmer in here.
Don't tell them that. They'll be even more sad. Yeah, but that won't happen again. So
it happens.
Once this podcast blows up, and in 4 years, you can be like, I've been watching since that one time they forgot to charge the camera phone.
It happened in one of our practice episodes, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, well, it might happen more than once.
So 2 out of 6 times.
All right, well, thanks for watching half and listening to the rest. If you liked it, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Thank you to all our supporters.
Thank you to all the supporters. Yep. We've been kind of getting it out there more ourselves, and we've been spread around by a few individuals. We really appreciate that.
Definitely.
I wanted to touch on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge thing for us. Like, we really, really appreciate any support and any branching out that they're helping us with.
Yeah.
So again, thank you for that. We can't thank you enough for it. Anyone who's new to this, please give us a follow. Interact with us. We like hearing about positives or negatives. Mm-hmm. Either way, we want to hear from people and get better at this.
Yep.
Like I said, follow, subscribe. Any support is valued to us. If you have any questions, feel free. And thanks for listening. And
we'll
see you next week.